Continuing our series on words mean things, we're going to talk today about the word worship. And again, oftentimes we boil down words to mean things that they did not originally intend. So I think most people, depending on your denomination or your upbringing, we have a general thought when we hear the word worship. Some of us, when we hear worship, we think of a service at church where we're singing, people raise their hands, people clap, sometimes people jump up and down, we're singing to Christian music, and other people they think of a service, but they think of a more traditional singing from the hymnals with a piano or a pipe organ. This is kind of the two general ideas of worship. But similar to the word that we've talked about of pray, worship is, when you go back to its original Hebrew meaning, literally means to fall to the ground in adoration of God. So, again, pray had the action of throwing yourself on the ground and pleading your case before God. Worship has a similar action of falling to the ground in adoration of God. And so, again, we're supposed to be people of praise. The Word of God says that He inhabits the praises of His people. He lives in our worship, in our praise of Him. And so we are supposed to have a lifestyle of worship, a lifestyle of praising God, and we have ignored this largely for a moment. And this is our next example of a moment. First we had church, which is a moment, a time, a place. And we had pray, which is a moment, a time of shutting your eyes, bowing your head, and saying some words to God. A moment with a beginning, a middle, and an end. But just like prayer, worship is something that does not end. It does not have a beginning, a middle, and an end. It is an action where at times we literally throw ourselves to the floor, fall to the floor in adoration of God. Physically fall to the floor. Other times the falling or the throwing ourselves to the floor is a metaphor for giving everything we have and to putting all of our heart, all of our energy, and all of our time into that. So it's a continuous action instead of a moment. And it can be accompanied by music, but music is not worship. Worship is adoration, adoring. So we can adore God through music, this is true, but we don't need music. So if I say we need to have a lifestyle of worship, that does not mean that we need to listen to worship music all day, every day. That means we have to have a lifestyle that continuously and constantly worships, adores God, that praises God. We need to always be in a state of thankfulness and praise and worship to God, because God is deserving of our worship. He does not deserve to have us come into church once a week and sing to Him. He does not deserve that. To me, that is a slap in His face. To me, that is an insult. To think that going into a building once a week and singing some songs and clapping your hands and raising your hands is enough for our God is an insult. So, putting music aside and saying that our life needs to be a life of worship means that what we do, what we say, how we act is all to give God the adoration He deserves.